On today podcast Varsity Squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and I have my good friend here, Hema Murty. I know I maybe butchered her name just a little bit, but we're just going to go with Hema. And she made it real easy because it's like saying hey ma, which is just awesome. She's a beautiful woman inside and out, beautiful soul. She's out there helping people level up. She is an author. And the book is The Professional Woman's Guide to Handling Stress. And I'm going to do a giveaway at the end of this podcast. So you have to make sure you stay tuned, and it will be on Time to Shine today's dime. And maybe Hema will, John Hancock it and sign it and send it out for us. So, she's listed in the who's who in the world. An advanced yoga instructor, certified online personal trainer, nutrition coach, and expert in East Indian philosophy, which I'm really starting to dig into quite a bit. Hema Murty is a PhD. She has a keen interest in training the complete being rather than just the physical body. And Hema, thank you so much for coming on. Please introduce yourself to Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. But first, what's your favorite color and why?
Pink is my favorite color.
What?
And
love it.
I do too. I like everything that's pink. It just makes you happy. It doesn't matter what you're doing, but once you see a pink thing, anything, it's just okay. I'm happy now.
Love it. I love it. And pink is in our color wheel. We're both kind of dark complected. Pink rocks on both of us.
It's true.
I love it. So let's get to the roots a little bit, because I know you have an engineering background a little bit, a lot of it. PhD. That's a lot of it. Maybe kind of get to the roots of where you were and how you're really helping, especially women over the age of 50, kind of really level up their life. But can we get to the roots, please?
Sure. Yeah. I do have an engineering background, and that makes me kind of think analytically. So when I was training in the gym, when I was trying to get my stress levels down, and I noticed that the training wasn't specifically catered. I mean, at that time, I wasn't in the age category I'm training now, but at the time I was just thinking like there was no specific women's centered, very specific to me kind of thing. It was just this, really general training for everyone else. And I thought, hey, this is something that needs to be addressed. So when I got the opportunity to have that business, make that business decision, I still do engineering work, but I'm kind of interested in that whole thing. I thought, and then the demographic of over 50 women with pain issues started coming up, like a lot of my friends and myself included as a long distance runner. So I just wanted to have a business that would just cater to that business solution and just really focus on that demographic, that niche, and get them up in the morning so they're not curtailed by any restrictive issues, which the solution is there. It's just not doled out in the regular training world as a normal modality. So now that's what I do.
I love it. And thank you for not using big words, being a doctor and all that jazz. No, but seriously, it's needed. I was at a car wash. This was like a year ago, and a gentleman leaned over me, and I could feel him, like, you have that person around you, and he's like, hey, how do you get those big shoulders and stuff? I'm like, yeah, pizza and beer. I was just joking. I looked up, and this gentleman's like in really good shape, but you could tell he has a lot of experience in life. He's aged a little bit. And I asked him, how old are you? Basically, he's like, I'm 86. Right. And now he's my pickleball partner, which is actually pretty cool. But, I'm asking, what do you do? And he's like, well, I wake up every day and I chase energy, and being somebody that's kind of Zen-like a little bit. Right. It's like, I don't believe in chasing too much, but he's like, listen, if a coyote sees a rabbit, if he strategically chases it, he's going to eat for the day. So what is your maybe outlook on providing energy for yourself in the morning, being a little bit, we'll just say over the age of 50.
Right. No,
not that you look it at all, my love, but I'm just
thank you. Well, you're my best friend for today. I was like, that was amazing. Okay, I'll take it. No, and you're totally right. You have to get that. What is the point of, where do you plug in? That's basically what you're asking. And you have to have the why. Solid why. To spend some time with yourself, asking yourself the hard questions. Why do you want to do anything? Not just business wise, but anything. What is your world? How are you configuring your world? How are you making your relationships? You've got, your home care, you've got family, relatives, yourself. So all the spokes of that wheel, like how are you taking care of that? Because if one of those spokes is not addressed, You're just going to get that flat tire and out you go. So that's going to be unexpected at the least expected time, and may not be ready for it. So have your backup plan ready. Try to understand your why and get it solid. Really, really, if somebody, pushed you against the wall, what's your why? You should be able to blurt it out in 5 seconds, that kind of thing.
What do you mean by backup plan?
Well, meaning there's going to be days where the why is going to be, oh yeah, but I'm exhausted, or oh yeah, I got, mother care issues, or oh yeah, my friend's, not well. So on those days where that rocket fuel is just not enough, you need a booster. Yes. So you need to have a backup plan, and each person's going to have to develop that for themselves. I mean, 7 billion people on the planet, each person's going to have a different thing that's going to light them up and make them go forward. And yours might be totally different from mine. I mean, probably is too, because we're just built so differently. And that's where the hard work comes. We're all built differently. So yes, picking up a book, listening to podcasts like this. Yes, these are all things that will get you to the point where you ask the question to yourself, but you got to be honest with yourself and say, what lights you up?
Sure.
What makes you go that extra step on days where you just want to go back into the bed and put the covers over your head and just forget the day and it's going to happen. Let's just toss this out with the wash. But if there's something you can figure out that will make you go that step that day, make that small step. And also come to grips with the fact that it doesn't have to be earth-shattering. I don't have to make 10 sales today. If I made some small progress, talk to one other person, made their day, maybe that's what this day is going to be about. And that's it. And that's close the book and out you go. And it's kind of, but yeah,
that's
so you just be realistic.
So good.
Thank you. It's just realistic.
That's so good, because I'm hearing a lot of people say I want balance in my life. And I really believe that balance is zero. I believe it's more about harmony, if you will. Like I kind of liken it with my coaching clients to a jazz band, where you have like the guitar might be your health, the horns might be your money, the drums might be your relationships. And if one of those is out of tune, right?
You got it.
Sound all that great. It sounds like me playing.
That is such a good example. I love it. That's amazing.
So, and I love it, the different pillars that you're not just hitting on the health and fitness, going through what I have, vetting you out, Hema, it's like you touch on all of those. But with health, am I right in saying that if you have solid health and your temple's taken care of, that it really bleeds into those other instruments to help stay leveled up if you have the health there first?
Yeah, I would totally agree with that, because you need an engine working before you can drive around the block and start helping your world. So you got to take care of, what is that famous saying on the aircraft, put your oxygen mask on first before you help, a child or somebody else. And so if you don't give your survival kit in gear and make it functioning optimally, you can't do all the things that we need to do, service what we're here for and help, other people. And that's what we're here for. And so in order to do that, though, you need yourself to be on solid ground, not looking for help yourself. So making sure, all of those things are taken care of, and you are mentally and physically, emotionally, spiritually, all of those things just need to be addressed. And why I say that is because a lot of people say, well, I'll go for my morning run, done, I'm good. But that's one part of, that does help you mentally. I did that a long time ago for that. But, you've got to address all the other spokes of the wheel too, as you just pointed out, and all the other instruments. You got to sit down and say, is there something bothering me? Because it's going to come and punch you in the face as soon as you're in the middle of taking maybe parent care or something. You're trying to get them to their doctor appointment, and all of a sudden you're going like, oh, I feel horrible. Somebody just punched me out. Why? Because probably a thought process went in that you didn't really address, and it's probably bothering you, and it comes at the least expect or wanted time.
And like you said, really, when that happens, go back to your why and really dig into that. I love that. So you coach people one-on-one or in groups mainly? Which one is your preference?
One-on-one is my standard procedure, a standard operating procedure. That's how I started as a one-on-one personal trainer in person before the pandemic. And then when the pandemic started, I moved all of these people to the online world and tried to figure out how to do that. And now, I'm just trying to address that question in a bigger way, try to get more online presence and make sure I can, give the message to as many people as possible. I did some in-person yoga classes before the pandemic, and they all got moved to an online world as well.
Okay.
So there's that.
That's awesome that a lot of people say pivoting now. I always thought it was shifting. We'll call it shivit. You're shiviting, right? So
right.
That's fantastic. So when you're maybe starting to work with somebody and you're maybe in the discovery period, Hema, is there any of secret sauce you might use really to help them find that initial blind spot?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think studying the body and understanding it inside and out, my clients jokingly, I guess half jokingly, call me a magician, but I think it's actually just, as you pointed out in the intro, years and years of study. I've got that mindset of trying to understand things from a cause and effect. So if I see something, like if a client appears on video or on telephone and says, I'm currently at the airport, which actually recently happened, I can't get on the plane, can you help me, can text me some stuff I need to do? Then since I've worked with that client, or just from asking them a few questions, I can tell them a few moves to rehab themselves to get to them a good place where they can get on with their day. That's just how I operate, but that's just from years of knowing how the body works and operates. So secret sauce, I think empathy would be my secret weapon, is that I'm just very empathic to people. And thank you.
I love it. So maybe when you're starting to work with somebody, Hema, is there really any good question that you wish they would ask you but never do?
Yeah, I think they should probably ask, what can I do daily to prevent such emergencies from happening? Now, to be fair, half of my clients do ask that question.
Sure.
I don't really want to call you. These 911 calls are not a fun thing. But there's the other segment of the population which are happy with the remedial rehab program I give them. On they go, and then their kind of fall to answer would be, I'm too busy. So as we just discussed a second ago, what does that really mean? That's the hard question they'll have to ask themselves. What does my excuse if I'm too busy, what does it really mean? You're too busy to answer the primary question of how you take care of yourself to serve your world. So these are difficult questions, but if they're not asked, and as you point out, they have to ask me, and I could totally help them make sure they don't get into the 911 situation where they need to call me. I need an answer now. You don't want to go there. You don't want to be there at all. So if they can somehow help them, that would be good.
That's fantastic. Because you're not around all the time, right? Yeah. It's like they're on their own for a certain point, but if they have the right guidance and know their why, they'll get that workout in, they'll get that stretching, especially as we get a little bit older. Flexibility, stretching is absolutely paramount. That's just awesome. So then what do you feel then, Hema, your strengths are?
I think, I just hit one of them was I do, just from studying people and just being concerned about their well-being from a internal sense, the mindset sense, the mind-body connection sense. I think I have a deep empathy. I have a strong love for maybe something that a lot of people don't like, is analytics. And I think marrying the engineering, marrying that engineering mindset to the service-oriented or body and client-centered training world is I think that would be my secret sauce. It's just that I do love studying the back end of things and the body and the mind connection. How would a person operate in an emergency when things don't work, when there's a body part that doesn't work? And I know the training world, at least when I was coming through the system, kind of really focuses on healthy people coming in, jogging up, and then becoming that person that they're proud to look at themselves in the mirror kind of thing, and then leaving. And there was very little room for people who just wanted to be healthy and fit and just get on with their day without pain, as I said in the intro. And I think that is just the mistake that people tend to make, that it's just a one-sided thing, and they really need to put all of that together, like mindset, the why. They really need to understand themselves internally, and that'll express itself externally. But sometimes they put the cart in front of the horse and expect that to move, and it's just going to sit there. So I think that's probably where I'm coming from.
Amazing. what you just said. Understand internally, express out externally. That's fantastic. How about weaknesses?
For me,
Mm-hmm.
I think I pile too much on in my plate. That's my biggest thing. I want to do a lot. I want to do everything. And as a single solopreneur, that's a very dangerous place to be because I have those hard conversations with myself. No, you cannot possibly run 2 courses at once. No, you cannot take another coaching client, even though she's in great pain and you may really need to get her a referral for somebody else. That's a really hard place to be because I feel like I should be the person who can, snap my fingers. I can get her out of this. She should be 100% by the time I finish, but I just don't have the human power and hours into helping her. And maybe that's a hard decision I sometimes have to make.
And I hear that you actually appreciate that weakness. I'm saying that in air quotes. That's fantastic. So, Hema, have you seen the movie Back to the Future?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go back in that DeLorean with Marty. We'll say the double deuce, the 22-year-old Hema.
Okay.
What kind of knowledge nuggets might you drop on her? Not to change anything, because your journey sounds awesome, okay? What kind of knowledge nuggets would you drop on her to maybe help her level up or blast through maybe just a little bit quicker, shorten that learning curve a little bit?
Yeah, I would say stay focused. Don't get distracted by all the other noise and stuff other people tell you. Sit in a room, figure out what you want, stay focused, put some blinders on. I mean, not all the time, but
sure,
as much as you possibly can. Try to decrease the noise. Try to decrease what you think you should do and do what you know you should do.
Love it. Love it. And so how do you want your dash remembered then? That little line in between your incarnation date and your expiration date, your life date and death date. Hopefully it's a long ways down the road. But how do you want your dash remembered?
That you had some solid advice to help people on the planet, especially that demographic that I feel is underserved, the active women over 50 who just want to get on with their activities, that I had a message for them. And that's basically start by looking after yourself, and your world will be looked after once you do that.
So what keeps you up at night?
I don't normally stay up at night, but if I did on the odd occasion, it would be worry about a client or a family member that might be needing my assistance it wouldn't be worry as so much as let's get a game plan. I'm very proactive. That's my engineering side kicking in. Okay, This is the problem. Where's the solution? Because there is one. What can I do to tweak my day so that problem gets mitigated by just even one small amount? And then I can fall asleep.
How about, what do people misunderstand the most about Hema?
That's a good question. I would say that there's a lot of back-ending to solve a problem. I mean, as I said, my clients joke, it's on my website. It's a big quotation. Hema's a magician. She can solve my pain problem, get me on the plane when I'm crippled on the airport, not being able to walk. And I said, to her, that's really not what you have got going on. That's just the way you're expressing it. That's not, really what it is. It's my study of the human body and the human potential and all of these back-ended years. I mean, I've a lot of certifications and a lot of books under my belt, a lot of online courses. So I think that's probably not as obvious because I do tend to be empathic and people-oriented. So I just don't sound like I've been studying that much, maybe, and that doesn't come across. But the solution method comes from that, and I think I can help them faster.
Love it.
So this, this testimonials seem to indicate that they think that it's just some kind of a wizardry.
Of it. That's beautiful. You are a magician, though, in a sense. Thanks. I mean, but it's real magic. So then what is Hema's definition of a life well lived?
I think if I've used my full potential to help as many people as I can while I'm able, I think that would be a life well lived.
Oh, man. That is huge. That is huge. So, wow, I'm just blown away. You are full of serious knowledge nuggets. And squad, we are going to take my good friend Hema through our Leveling Up Lightning Round just as soon as we get back from thanking our sponsors and affiliates. Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. We are back. And Hema, hopefully one day we can meet in ask you some of these questions in person. But we'll probably talk 15, 20, 30 minutes, an hour on each one of them. But you got 5 seconds to answer with no explanations. We have a buzzer here. I'm just kidding. But we have 5 seconds. Ready?
Okay.
All right, let's level up. What's the best leveling up advice Hema's ever received?
Know your why and stick with it.
Yes. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Morning practices, meditation, gratitude, some relaxation, some yoga.
Yes, I love that. Love it. So if you see me walking down the street, man, like Fergie, he looks like in his doldrums a little bit. What book might you hand me to level up?
Atomic Habits by James Clear.
James E. Clear. I love it. I love it. I got to speak on stage with him a little while back. It's amazing.
Cool.
Fantastic. So what's your most commonly used emoji when you text?
A happy face.
Yay. So nicknames growing up?
The Whiz Kid.
I'm
embarrassed to say that.
No, you're fine.
Like I should hide my head in shame now.
No, you're fine. That's awesome. Chess, checkers, or Monopoly?
Chess.
All right. I figured you smarty pants would say that. So what's your go-to ice cream flavor when you're
Vanilla.
cheating?
I'm sorry. I
Me
have
too.
to apologize.
Me too.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I hug you through the internet.
You can add stuff to it if you want, but I
right,
like
exactly my point.
Love it. So there's a there is a sandwich named the Hema. What might be on that sandwich?
Oh, I'm so boring. Lettuce, tomato, and cucumber.
It's fine. It's fair enough. So you can't change anything, but if you could go for one day and you can't change anything 20 years into the future or 20 years or any time really in the past and spend one day there, can't change anything, just observe, what would you go?
I'd go to the future.
Okay. Very cool. Love it. Love it. Any favorite charity and organization you like to give your time or money to?
Well, there is a worldwide organization called the Vedanta Society around the world, and they do Indian philosophy from a non-denominational point of view.
Oh,
it's more like all the denominations together.
Okay.
They have all of the sacred people in the world at the front, and then they celebrate all the holidays, and then they spread out their teachings, all of them, everybody's. But I mean, it's India oriented, but it's not denominational.
I love it, Donnie. Make sure you email her for that link. Okay. Awesome. And last question, you can elaborate on this one, but what is the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
I'm torn between 60s and 70s. I'll go with 60s.
60s? Very cool. Very cool.
The Apollo program, aerospace engineer and all. I
pants.
know. I knew. The corn
it.
factor. Let's just go with that.
NASA's just a couple hours north of me here. So,
I know.
So it's cool because I can literally from my place right here, when they're launching something and I know about it, I can watch it. You don't see it really close. You see the stream and
I love that.
That's freaking awesome. I'm going to tell you right now. So how can we find you, love?
Okay. GetShanti.com. How weird is that? So GetShanti.com.
What does Shanti mean?
GetShanti.com. And Shanti Consulting is my company name. So it's Get Shanti.
Okay.
And everything is there. The contact me, information about my upcoming course, my online course, to sign up for getting information. That's to get on the wait list and get more information. Just tell me you're interested and I'll talk to you one-on-one, actually.
Love it. Do you have a podcast yet?
I don't. I have been giving these information pieces out on other people's podcasts so far.
You need one. I'm going to tell you right now, you're so well-spoken. Obviously, you're a beautiful lady, but you're so well-spoken. And people will listen to you, for one. And two, you'd be able to land guests left and right to help others level up as well. Great. I love it. And if you ever need any help with that, I'd be happy
I will
walk
definitely,
you through it. Absolutely.
I'm writing it down. I'm going to do that.
Yes.
I'm going to follow up with you.
Yes, please do. And tell us a little bit about your book, the author of Professional Women's Guide to Handling Stress.
Yeah, it's a really quick read, under 100 pages for active women professionals. Now, what I did was I wrote that over the course, like very early in when I started my company in 2005. I didn't publish it until 2015, but it's just a really quick way of getting anyone. It's written with the mindset of, I was trying to help women who I felt were underserved, but anyone can read that and get a really quick 1, 2, 3 method for getting yourself out of stress. If you follow the exercises in that honestly, you will have a what I said, like a backup plan, a way of getting yourself out of the doldrums. If for any occasion, whatever the case may be, you just find yourself in that mindset where I don't care. Even Mahatma Gandhi could show up and I'd still be, feeling like a bunch of, garbage here. So
Right.
I need to get something really fast out of this thing. You can follow those exercises and really just get yourself out of it.
I love it. And Scott, we're going to do a book giveaway, whether it's for a lady out there or maybe a significant other that might need it, which I know Susan, I'm going to get one for my lady Susan for sure. But anybody that puts in any of our social, that includes Pinterest, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, and they just put in Hema, but spell it Heyma. Not the way my good friend here says that, because I'll know that you listen this far. Heyma. We'll get a signed copy out to you stat. So do me one last solid favor here, Hema, and leave us with one last knowledge nugget we can take with us, internalize, and take action.
Spend 5 minutes every day. Everyone's got 5 minutes to understand yourself with your eyes closed, shut everything else out, and find out what your why is for that day. And it could be different every day. It doesn't matter. Just get that solid so that during the day, if anything comes in your way, you will remember your why.
Right. And Scott, I got to tell you, like, that is the best advice really that I give to my coaching clients as well. And then I'm like, no sleeping, no anything electronic, no nothing. Just sit and really visualize and tune into your day. And it's harder than what you think. Sitting alone is hard and without sleeping, I'm going to tell you, but I got it mastered now myself to 30 minutes.
That's great.
But it took me since 2003. And I started with like 2 minutes and then 5 minutes. And then, but like, hey, just give yourself 5 minutes, squad. And I got to tell you, we got a free masterclass with my good friend Hema that, she's working out, it basically said, there's got to be a better way. That engineer in her, that analytical side of her came out. So there's got to be a better way to help people with pain issues. So she started to build programs to help cater to that solution. She wants to remind us that your why is crucial. Spend a lot of time asking tough questions of yourself and to get to that why. And sometimes you might need a backup plan, and someone like Hema will help you get there. She wants to remember, like we say, inch by inch, it's a cinch. Okay. By the yard, it's hard. So it doesn't have to be earth shattering in Hema's words. Okay. Remember about your body. You need your engine working before you can drive. So take care of that temple. She's called the musician, but it really comes from her hard knock study through being a PhD in engineering and then parlaying that into health and fitness. Okay. And it smartened her eye to be empathetic and to help you find your blind spots. And if you're starting to work with your coach, especially in the fitness world, ask your coach what you should be doing when you're not with your coach. Okay. She has solid advice. My friend here, Hema, is planting trees she's never going to sit in the shade of. Okay. She's paying it forward. She has a deep empathy and strong love for the analytics. Studying the back ends of things will help you out, especially in emergency situations. You have to understand yourself internally before you can express yourself correctly externally. Stay focused. Use that 5 minutes a day she asked you for to just get away from the distractions, okay? Decrease the noise, okay? And if you don't know how, like my good friend Leah Woodford would say, get your asking gear. Get out there and ask and get that help. And let us put you in touch with my good friend Hema here. She's a person that, from what I'm hearing, really is saying, to stay in the present, okay? A lot of people have a foot in the future, a foot in the past, and they piss all over the present. Stay in the present. You have that full potential to help yourself. Okay. And again, just the reiteration, 5 minutes daily of interflexion to really visualize, play out that scene of how you want you to feel in your temple, with your relationships and relationships with money as well. Don't be afraid of that. Relationships across the board. And I am so humbled and grateful that Hema came on. Hema, you level up your health, you level up your wealth, you're humble, yet you're hungry. You've earned your varsity squad letter here at Time to Shine today. Thank you so much for coming on. I can't wait to collaborate with you in the future. I absolutely love your guts.
Me too. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You bet. Chat soon, love.